My name is Dempsey. I am a writer and a critic for a site called Cinefied. It is a pleasure to be speaking to all of you today. I saw the film and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
My first question is for the director, Sang-ho. Uh, this is one of your, I would say, arguably more grounded films. It's less sci-fi, less horror, but it's still really good. Where did the idea come from?
사실은 예전에 제가 애니메이션을 할 때는 제가 창작을 하는 방식이 이 사회를 바라보는
So I guess back in the days, the animation, my animation and how the creative process started was is that I would start from the perspective that what kind of emotions I would have towards the society, and after all, I guess it transformed into more of the genre of films, and that will be the start of the film. And I worked on that style for a very long time. However, this film, I think it started again with the idea that what is the story that I wanted, what is the narrative that I wanted to talk about this particular society, and where does this achievement, the people who wants to achieve, where does the energy come from, and where did it begin? And I think that was the idea that started with the film.
It's my understanding you guys have all worked with Sang-ho before. Why reunite? Like what was it about? Was it the experience of working with him again, or was it the story, or a combination of the two?
늘
I
감동이
think his film always contains these very sharp messages, and that's a very fascinating aspect. But also, he shoots very fast, very quickly.
상황을 일단 하는 거죠.
If director Yeon asks, you just do it.
근데 이제 이 영화의 이야기는 저희들이 흥미로웠어요.
I thought the story itself, the narrative was very interesting, not just the details, but the inherent irony that comes with it. He's a visually impaired man, but he was always desiring about the other people seeing or their perspective. And he lives to satisfy that expectations. And it's irony that people who can see, they don't really look into the people they're seeing, but the visually impaired person was always longing for that, and I thought that was very interesting.
같은 경우에도 뭐 함께 작업을 했던 경험이나 이런 것도 물론 영향이 있었을 수 있겠지만 그것보다도
I think for myself, of course, it's because of the previous experience working with him, but I think there is a really power to this narrative that I had to play this role that I had to not reveal my face while I'm performing, which was so new, so different, and very challenging in a way. But I thought the opportunity might not easily come later on, so that's the reason why I decided to choose this film. I thought this was a film that really, I guess, show his sensibility and sharpness in the film. So that was the reason why I chose this film. For myself, my first film was working with a director, and he suggested to be in his second movie, and just to have this great opportunity to work with all my amazing colleagues here. So I decided to take on this project.
So for Sang-ho, this is like the Avengers. Basically, you get like all these other great actors from all of your other projects coming together. Um, and we heard about their reasons, but I would really love to hear the director's reason as to why he thought each person was a great fit for their role. If he can speak on that.
일단은 여기 계신 배우분들 중에서 거의 최하로 저랑 작업한 게 두 편 작업한 게 최하고 고대호 선배님은 한 네 편 하신 것 같고 박정민 배우도 세편 최민 배우도 한 세 편 했으니까 저랑은 이제 손발을 되게 많이 맞춰 왔던 배우들이
So all the people here, all the actors are here. I think the minimum two films, up to four films, three films, three films. Like I've all worked with them in different projects. So these are the actors that I have actually previously had experience working with. We know each other very well. I know their working style and their and because the budget was very limited. it just makes sense to work with people that I fully know and how they work. There's no really room for experimenting things. So even the actors who are not here, I've worked with all of them before. So these are truly the veteran actors. And with working with them, that we were able to really reduce the shooting time, but to really elevate the quality at the same time.
그리고 배우들이 다
I think we didn't really mention before, but director Yeon, I'm sure with some other projects that there are decisions that he could make. There are also interruptions, but decisions that was based on the budget of the film. But I think for this film, he was able to really tell the narrative of his story, and we were reminiscent of the past, his early work of animation work, and I think that's why we really wanted to be part of this project together.
That's awesome. No, that's very good. Thank you for your answer. I think I only have time for a handful more questions here. So I wanted to open this up, and I probably should have before, but I didn't want to get too much into what the movie's about. It's called The Ugly. It's about, a woman who is perceived as ugly, but as the film goes on, it's kind of goes into how ugliness is subjective. So I wanted to ask all of you, if you guys can give me an answer, what is your definition of ugly?
너무 철학적이죠.
That's a very philosophical question.
영화를 만들 때는 좀 안됐어요. 쪽에는 불편한 정 같은 것이라고 생각을 했거든요. 저는 자기의 생각과는 다른 되게 불편함이 있기 때문에 그렇게 본다고 생각을 했는데 사실은 영화
I think when I started to create this film, the character Chang Hyung-hee kind of symbolizes this very uncomfortable justice, and that makes people uncomfortable, and that's why they categorize her as ugly. But I wanted the audience to really think about, is she the one who's really ugly, or the other people in the film that they are the ugly ones? And I think that was the part that I wanted people to contemplate it on.
저는 원작을 볼 때 생각했던 것이 얼마나 못생겼길래 하면서
For myself, I was reading the graphic novel, and while reading the graphic novel, I think I constantly imagined and thought about how ugly she could have been. And when finally that he sees the photo of his mother, and when I was reading it, I realized that my mentality of imagining and expecting how ugly she could be, I thought that itself was ugly.
할 때는 이제 어떻게 생겼을까?
When I started to film, I was also very curious, but at the end, I think I actually hated the choice that the son made. And I think what's more important is it's not about being ugly or beautiful, but it's the inner world and how ugly that is. I think that is more important aspect.
뭐 ugly라는 그냥
I think ugly is just a word that's kind of framed into this concept. And if I really think about it, can you actually call or judge someone being ugly just based on their appearance? And I think, I don't think so. I think it's something more than that.
겉으로 보이는 모습.
I think also for myself, can you really, I don't think it has anything to do with the appearance, but I think the people who are living their life not as themselves, that could be considered ugly. So in that sense, Chang Hyung-hee's character is not ugly. And I think the people who are judging her and framing her with that certain concept is the one who's ugly.
저는 못생겼다는 건 잘 모르겠고, 그거는 원작 봤을 때 마지막에 나오잖아요, 정영의 얼굴이. 근데 그걸 보고 나서 사실 제일 궁금했던 건 순간적으로.
So when I read the graphic novel, actually, you see the face of her at the end, and what I was more curious about was my expression of looking at her face. And I thought maybe it would be a good idea to put another page after that to put a mirror in it, but I think that might have not worked with the budget.
That actually sounds like a great idea. It's essentially what the film does itself. It holds a mirror up to the person, like I said, to allow them to define what is ugly and what is not. But I believe that is all the time that I have today. I want to thank all of you so much for your time and for your work on this wonderful film. And I cannot wait to see what each of you do next. Take care.
You.